Hey, beautiful friends, beautiful souls, Satnam, welcome, hola. I hope that you're having a beautiful day. For the first time in years of doing this show, I broke it down into 2 episodes for episode number 119 as we venture onto the new Earth, the future Earth, and what it is going to look like when Mother Earth finalizes giving birth to the new Earth. Amazing, amazing things and things that I didn't get to cover because there was so much information that one episode would have been over 2 hours long. So therefore, I cut it down into 2 different parts, saving the second part for the best. Save the best for last, friends. If you're new here, you're new to my channel. My name is Joseph Tittel, aka Spiritman JT. I welcome you with infinite love and gratitude every Tuesday. Now this is Wednesday, but again, episode number 1 was yesterday. If you missed episode number 1, I will leave a link up above. You're going to want to hear the whole entire episode, both part 1 and part 2, so that you know how amazing the future Earth is going to be. And that's right around the corner, friends. It's on our doorsteps. In the 2030s, we will be living on the new Earth. Living in a new Earth nation where everything, even the maps of our planet, are completely different. Today, we're going to talk about the magic that's going to appear in the skies above, the discoveries in outer space, amazing discoveries of all kinds of things, including treasures, ancient knowledge, and ancient wisdom that is all going to come within this next decade before we even get to the new Earth. It's going to be amazing, friends. How do we travel in the future? What's it look like in the way of future travel? And most importantly, our health. What does our health look like in the future? What are the new techniques and forms of healing that are going to be used in the future? Spirit gave me a peek into the future, and I'm going to share that with you today. The new methods of healing. What else? I got the power of water and the current water wars finishing up again yesterday's topics. The future of Hollywood. Does it exist on the new Earth? I'll give you a hint. It does not. Why is that? And what does exist in the way of television and movies in the future? You're going to be surprised as to what I got to share with you. I'm going to share you some information that I received when I was in Peru a couple years back from Mama Ayahuasca on a journey with the shamans. And what she showed me about the web of darkness, something that you're going to want to hear about too. We're going to talk about the mental health of humans and humanity in the future and what is affecting the mental health and what's going to help cure or help heal, not cure, but heal, because it's really not a cure, it's a healing process when it comes to mental health. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to give you a little information about Oak Island, the Vatican files, Princess Kate, and a whole lot more on this episode number 119, part 2. Part 2. Remember, make sure you watch part 1 of Tuesday's prediction update, even on Wednesday. And y'all know what time it is. I already drank my tea, but y'all know what time it is. It's
tea time, baby.
Hey, beautiful friends, beautiful souls, Satnam, welcome, hola. Once again, I hope you're having a beautiful day today. It is now March, or March, not March, it's May 29th when you're watching this. This was all recorded yesterday on May 28th for Tuesday's tea time. But the episode was so long, so much packed information that I split it into 2 episodes. So if you missed that first episode, make sure you watch it. Look for the link up above. Down below, you'll find the link to all my social media content, including my free newsletter, the Awaken Your Spirit community on Subscribestar. And of course, I am so grateful for all those who make this free content possible for everybody else. I couldn't do it without you. I thank you with infinite love and gratitude. So again, this is part 2 of the New Earth prophecies, along with touching base on some of the past week's news stories and predictions revolved around that. I very much hope you enjoyed episode part 1, but I really hope you enjoy episode 119 part 2 even more. Check it out. I already said it many, many times, and even Jesus warned us in the Holy Bible that signs would appear in the heavens. We are going to witness, as I talked about again many times, many signs from above. So many amazing, wild signs. And not only are we going to see the maps and the geography of our Earth completely change, and maps have to be redone and redrawn up completely, same goes for the skies. It's actually literally going to, I would imagine, shift the astrology on the planet too. We'll be looking at things differently when the Earth begins to tilt and the poles shift a little bit. Spirit says the skies above us are going to completely change as well. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be really interesting. So therefore, shifting the skies above as well, at some point I seen a vision of what appeared to me like 2 moons in the sky. That's right, 2 moons in the sky for a short, brief period of time. I don't know if it's a moon. Maybe it's Nibiru, and the sun shines on it and it looks like a moon. I don't know. But for a very brief period, it's going to appear like 2 moons in the sky, Spirit said. That's all I got. I look forward, and this isn't in any of my notes, I look forward to when the big reveal comes with the moon, the current moon. The big reveal, again, go to the movie Star Wars and the Death Star. There you have it. Even the ancient India texts and prophecies even too, in ancient India talk about, and I forget the word, abora, whatever it be, the flying vehicles and the flying things in the skies, and a great conflict that took place from inner worlds, the moon, Death Star. Again, it all came, where do you think Steven Spielberg got all that information from, and George Lucas? So we're going to see all that. We're going to see a big reveal on the moon. I don't know when that's coming. That would be coming. I would expect that to happen before we get onto the new Earth. Big reveal. We need to know all the truth of what happened before we can step onto that new Earth. We're going to start remembering things too. It's happening to me, remembering past lives. And you may also notice, and this is coming soon too, it's happening, but Spirit says expect this during the summer, especially by the next eclipse, which is October 2nd, I believe. Well, there's doubles, but October 2nd is the next big one that puts the other X right over the Pacific Ocean. Spirit says you're going to start to notice that you're remembering things from your past a lot more. Childhood experiences and things. And eventually it'll be like watching a movie in our head when we are able to recollect every moment of our pasts. That will be a part of the new Earth. That'll be interesting. So the skies above are shifting, moons for a short period. And remember, in 2029, we're going to witness one of the rarest sky events that happens every 3,200 years or whatever it is, when the comet Apophis covers our skies on Friday, April 13th, 2029. I did a video on that. And I did a video on the future planet maps of the Earth. Both those. I was starting to tell you that earlier, and I got sidetracked for ADHD in my brain. So Billionaire Bunkers and the Future Earth is a video I did that shows the maps of the future Earth, which are not 100% accurate, Spirit says, but close, very close, very close. The one map is very close. So I'll make sure to link to the Billionaire Bunkers and future maps, and I talk about all the prophecies and how they all match and what the Earth looks like in maps in the future. Check that out. That's a good one. And then I also have the video, The Great Purifier. The Great Purifier is Apophis that comes in on Friday the 13th, 2029 in April. That is going to be something to witness, friends. That is going to cover our skies, and it's going to relate completely to the Hopi's Blue Kachina prophecy. That's what my Great Purifier video is about. So check it out. I spent a lot of time and research on that video, so definitely check it out if you haven't seen it already. I also tell you to expect amazing new discoveries in our skies beginning this year. New discoveries, new things that we haven't seen before. New technology, Spirit shows me, is currently being developed by an independent company, which is always good. We want the independent companies. We don't want the corporations like NASA. An independent company will take us deeper into the galaxy with amazing clarity. So it's almost makes me feel almost like a drone that just goes to places that no one has ever been able to go before. And being that it's an independent company, it's going to be really hard for people like NASA to try to stop it from happening. It's going to give us amazing clarity of the universe. And I would expect that we're going to witness this perhaps as early as this year, but definitely in 2025. Now, also, we are even going to witness what the Hopi call the Red Star Kachina, better known as Nibiru, Planet X, and other things, up close and personal. And it's going to be amazing to witness. And that'll be as we're stepping into the new Earth, we will know. It comes twice, 2029 and 2036, 7 years apart. So by 2036, we are definitely, that next round that it comes around is the next round letting us know that we have arrived to the new Earth. So it's a whole process. And Spirit told me when I was younger, 2032, New Earth 2032. So we're already rebuilding the Earth in 2032, I would imagine. But by 2036, that's when we are there. That's when all of humanity is together. That's going to be quite amazing. And I would again think right after Apophis makes its second round in 2036. I forget when that is. I know it's April 2029, but I forget what month it is in 2036. Maybe October? I can't recall. I'll have to look that up. It's in my video, though. I assure you that. The Hopi's Blue Star, Red Star Kachina prophecy. New technology, again, that's going to help us see into areas we never saw. And I also see a breakthrough in space travel. And in the future, we're going to take trips across country and even across the oceans. And it's going to be like popular because it's going to be stellar travel. And it's going to be like super fast travel. And then there's also going to be stellar travel. So we'll be able to get from here, say I'm in Arizona, to Paris, France in a quarter of the time. How? I'm not sure. Maybe they're allowing us to use UFOs in the future because those things move at the blink of an eye. But we'll be able to get there like that is what Spirit shows me. Travel will be so simple, so easy, and use no energy whatsoever. Only the energy of Mother Earth. So that's pretty exciting for sure. And then stellar travel in trips to outer space. And now we see this, or we hear people talk about like Bezos and all. And, he just drove... Captain Kurt up into space. And then, I think you can do that. And it's like $150,000 or some ridiculous price that, only the real rich people can afford. Spirit says, nah, that's just them. What's in the future for stellar travel is way better than what they have. And it's not going to be for the rich. It's going to be for everybody or anybody that wants to do it on the new Earth. We're all rich on the new Earth. Remember that. We're all rich. We're all abundant. We're all joyful on the new Earth. And we will have the ability to travel to amazing places if we wish to do so, of course. Beam me up, Scotty. Beam me up, Scotty will also become a reality. I mean, look, the aliens have it. The galactic people have it. You hear the stories of people being lifted up in the light, lifted right through the walls of their home right up to the spaceships, right? You hear that all the time. So they already have that. But Spirit says, beam me up, Scotty is going to become a reality for us on the new Earth. And this is going to be really interesting. It's going to be further in the future, Spirit said, further in the future, the new Earth, maybe decades into the new future. So maybe 2050, 2060, somewhere around there. Teleportation is and has been studied already for decades, according to Spirit. But new technology, including special newly discovered minerals, are going to aid in our ability to teleport in the future and even step into and out of the past to look deeper into our future. So time travel, sort of. The Spirit didn't say time travel. Spirit said specifically the ability to step back into the past or look deeper into the future. So I don't know if that's actually traveling in time or just being able to see it through like a looking glass or something. We also are going to see, we all seen the movies and the television series that show Stargate. Actually, that was one of the series. I loved that when I was younger. Stargate, the movie actually, Stargate. Another object that the puppeteers keep hidden from us. Something they already have. Something that you can refer to as a Stargate. Spirit says they still do not know how to actually operate it. They still can't figure it out. Anyway, the universe keeps a lot of wisdom out of the hands of the elite, the puppeteers, on purpose. So there's certain things they can't figure out. They're trying and God, the divine, works hard to make sure they don't get their hands on that little piece of wisdom to get something to run, like a Stargate. So that's really good news, because they wouldn't know what to do with it anyway, and they'd end up causing disaster. Even though they already are in the process, Spirit says, tons of hidden knowledge and wisdom. Tons. They already possess it, the elite. They possess tons of wisdom. But the knowledge that they need to properly run these devices, to star things and these ancient technologies that they have, is being held from them purposely. Because God believes they have evil intent, or it could lead to evil intent. The wisdom and knowledge will come when we're in a higher vibration, and it will be used for the good of all. I look forward to it. It sounds all very exciting, including the discoveries, friends. I see this new pyramid being erected. And I know people tried and nobody can do it, and they have not ever been able to make a pyramid like that. Like the Great Pyramid, or even half the size, or even a quarter of the size. Spirit shows me new pyramids being erected. And I feel the first one is somewhat of an experiment, along with maybe with college students too, an experiment along with, because I felt like there was a college lecture connected to it, oddly, and a lesson. And it's more of like an experiment, like a college lesson, experiment, lecture, or whatever, that ends up being successful, greatly successful. So finally, we're going to begin to not only receive the knowledge and wisdom to rebuild like the ancient pyramids, we're also going to learn how to use them, the current pyramids, the way our ancient ancestors did in Lemuria, Atlantis, and Mu. So that'll be really cool to see. I even see what appears to be the modern obelisks, the big, beautiful obelisks. Always fascinated me since I was a kid. I see obelisks being erected, like new obelisks, a new type of obelisk, made out of stone still, but containing, like the ones in Egypt, containing quartz and different things to generate energy and power. This is likely has to do with our future energy, of course, because that's exactly what was done in ancient Egypt. Well, what we call ancient Egypt, which in reality is actually ancient Atlantis, Lemuria, and Mu. So that's what they did. The Great Pyramid was an absolute electric generator of energy. And that energy went out via radio waves and bounced off all of the obelisks throughout Egypt, giving people free power. That's the way it was. And they know that. They just don't want you to know that. I mean, there's even hieroglyphics with light bulbs. Come on now. The things they don't want you to know. But now they think, oh, well, humans have been stupid and believed all this fake history we made up so far. But the thing is it's not working anymore. It's not going to work, especially for the new kids that are coming in and the new kids in school. And I was one of them kids in school, even though that was a long time ago, where I was like, that's not true. Like, teacher be teaching something, like, that is so not true. That is not, like, I felt inside that's not right. That doesn't feel right to me. So I even see what appears to be, again, these modern obelisks being put up, which I would imagine are connected to the future energy. And I see changes that are coming in our DNA. Our DNA, which reminds me of my experience with ayahuasca in Peru. I was in my ayahuasca, my first journey, I was surrounded by all these amazing angels. And all this sacred geometry was all three-dimensional. It was wild. It was passing through me and all around me, all this sacred geometry and these angels standing over me. And they told me in that journey that they were recalibrating my DNA, which needed to be recalibrated to get me to the level. And, that's a long story. I'll have to write a book about that one. Except folks in the future will not even need to consume things like ayahuasca in order to see significant recalibrations in humanity's DNA. That's the difference. You're not going to have to run off and do that in order for you to have a recalibration of your DNA. The whole planet is going to be getting and receiving recalibrations. This will be happening through major events, different astrological events, and of course, solar flares all aid in the ascension and the shifting of that. But also Mother Earth herself will help shift, because as she's shifting, her DNA is shifting. So therefore, ours has to. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to stay on the planet. And we are going to continue to thrive on this planet. Always. Even into the new Earth. So even folks in the future, again, you're not going to have to consume things in order for things to happen. It appears to me and feels to me more like this is so important that our DNA has been taken in some way. Kind of like hijacked. They hijacked our DNA or part of our DNA. Because I feel like part of our DNA is coming back and being returned to us. All right? Does it make any sense? I'm not a DNA person. I forget how many even chromosomes there are. 23? Yeah, 23 in me. No, it's 24 or 25. How about that? Now that would be interesting. Stay away from that 23 in me, people. There's an Illuminati card on that. Just saying. So yeah, this is all important for our DNA to be recalibrated in order for us to get to that new earth and that birth and all that. We hear so much about lost gold. You know, you hear about out here in Arizona, there's quite a few stories. You have treasures buried or alleged treasures. You have Oak Island and all kinds of buried treasures and, you know, trillions of dollars of missing ancient treasures and gold that we're told about. Some of it that's been discovered and hidden from us. Spirit says that we're going to see major discoveries in treasure. And my guess that it must be related somehow to some type of technology in the future that makes it more possible and easier to find these things. Even more possible is folks are going to begin to remember. Spirit told me that in Shamanic Journey before, a couple of years ago, actually, that I would remember because I was told about, you know, where I'm supposed to build something and I was going to find something that I left behind in Lemuria. And I was like, well, where is it? And they're like, you're just going to, one day you'll remember. You'll remember and you'll just go right there and you'll find it. So that's another thing. We're going to start getting these memories. So people might remember in your past life you were a part of hiding that treasure, and all of a sudden you remember, oh, I remember that past life. I remember where that is. That's what's going to be really amazing. Because that's the thing. We're remembering things, our past lives and so many other things. So we're going to see large, massive amounts of gold, silver, treasures, ancient history revealed, and even more truth and solid proof. Not that I question it, but I'm sure there are people that do. I do not, but solid proof of the existence of Jesus Christ. Folks are going to be shocked by that proof and evidence that comes about. I don't know what it is. I could guess. Maybe it's his actual corpse. I don't know, but something big. A lot of truth. And humanity, again, ascending to that Jesus consciousness. I even see an unveiling, or at least one of the Arks of the Covenant. We talked about that. That's another ancient treasure. It's been hidden. I still say one of them's down there in that Vatican safe, hidden down in the Vatican with a lot of other stuff. That's when the big reveal on the planet's going to come. When they reveal all the ancient knowledge and wisdom that's hidden down in the dungeons of the Vatican. So much truth is going to come out of there. That's going to be amazing. And they're not going to want it to come out. It's just going to happen. It's almost like as if somebody's able to get in because the earth cracks and they go in and they reveal it all. That's just, again, a metaphor. But it almost is like that. It's just like they don't want to reveal it, but all of a sudden it's all being revealed. So that'll be interesting. I think, actually, that a future pope might have something to do with it. Where a future pope gets in, one with pureness and light sparks within him, and the purple sacred flame of Saint Germain ignites within him. And the Pope is the one that says we need to show people. And as much as they try to stop it, it's not going to be stopped. Maybe it'll be the next Pope, because there's the next Pope coming really soon. Mind-blowing discoveries. Mind-blowing discoveries, including, again, a reveal of the Ark of the Covenant. I don't know where. Maybe it's part of the Vatican. I know there's one there, but I don't know which one's being revealed. There's 3 of them, I believe. That is correct, says the spirits. One of my biggest of discoveries is going to come out of Edgar Casey's predictions. Atlantis will rise once again. Something that many misinterpret, actually. Many people misinterpret, and folks do not realize that Atlantis is all around us. Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu, it's all around us. It's in the water. Remember, water holds energy. Water holds memory. Water holds consciousness. Water is life. Without it, there is no life anywhere in the world. So when, NASA's looking at other planets, what's the first thing they look for? A sign of water. If there's a sign of water, there's a sign of life, right? Well, all of that's around us. Lemuria is here. I'm standing on Lemuria and Atlantis and Mu, right here in Sedona. But so are you. So that's a misinterpretation. It was a time period. But there's also parts of Atlantis, Mu, and all that are under the ocean when the Earth went through its last shift. And that's the stuff, and that is where a lot of hidden knowledge and wisdom is, technology buried right underneath. Look at Bermuda Triangle. Some people think it's giant crystals. No, there's technology sunken beneath the Bermuda Triangle, and that's going to rise. It's going to rise when the earthquakes beneath the sea allow things to rise up out of the sea. But again, remember, though, Atlantis is all around us. Most of the stuff that's below the sea, lots still exists. Lots still exist actually on our land as well that has yet to been discovered. That's beneath us, not just beneath the sea. Now, Edgar Cayce's prediction of the rise of Atlantis was not simply just a landmass rising out of the sea. This is what I believe Cayce's prediction actually was. I believe Edgar Cayce was talking about the rise of Atlantis, meaning the rise of humanity to the ascension and to the wisdom, knowledge that the ancient Atlanteans had. That would be a rise of Atlantis. Atlanteans, all of a sudden we become modern day Atlanteans, right? Just like Jesus' return, the consciousness. We're in that mindset of Jesus, that love, that pureness, right? Same thing. So that's what I believe Edgar Cayce was talking about. A rise of Atlantis is a rise of the technology and the things and the way the Atlantean people lived before they destroyed themselves, which we won't do again. We won't do that again. There won't be another one of them. After after man's done destroying everything right now, it's not going to happen again. We don't have to worry about that. 1,000 years of peace, remember? 1,000 years of peace on the planet. That's part of the prophecies. So, we're already rising up to that consciousness now, by the way. Remember that. So there's also going to be land masses rising while other amazing technologies are going to be unveiled from beneath the ice of the Arctic. I see one earthquake and volcanic eruption beneath both the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans. And landmass reveals technology still intact and appearing as if it's brand new. So, folks, when we hear about, some earthquake and land appearing, we got to hurry up and go on Google Earth and try to see if we can. Well, that's not live, is it? Yeah. See, they'll hurry up and go on there so that we don't see it. But they can't hold the truth from us for long, friends. They can't hold the truth from us for long. Today's show is long, so I don't even think I'm going to go over the other topics that I mentioned earlier. We'll have to talk about that next week. Let's talk about future travel because so many species are going extinct every day. And mainstream media is always throwing it in our faces that's caused from, the climate and all this and caused from humans and all that, which surely is probably the case with many, if not most or all, but not all, actually. What they are not revealing to us, what they're not talking about, they always want to talk about, things they don't, make you fearful or scared. What they're not telling you about is all the amazing new species that are being discovered each and every day. With so many more to come, the planet is evolving. And we do not can't even imagine or fathom the amazing species that are already on this planet we haven't discovered. But not only that, some species, Spirit shows me, remember the DNA changing and recalibrating in the DNA, some species are going to shift and change themselves, which will be an old species, but a new species. We'd have to categorize it as a new species because it would be new in some forms. It's going to be very interesting and very fascinating, to say the least. So many things are going to come, and the planet is evolving, so we have to evolve with her. amazing species that evolve, and the return of things that went extinct, which we know they're manipulating and they want to bring back the woolly mammoths and all, and that's probably part of it. But again, I'm just telling you what Spirit showed me with the new Earth, amazing new species and the return of some of the species that went extinct, which is good that we can, start to save things and bring them back as long as they're for the good of the planet. So they're going to rise again. Old species are going to rise again with help from humans, of course. Some are going to end up being not so smart of a decision, like, what the hell did you recreate that for? And it'll backfire on them, and they'll have to, make it extinct again. Just a few things. But again, it's learning. They're learning too. And some are going to end up, being amazing for the Earth because it's going to be a part of the Earth's rebirth, and it's also going to bring about new cures for diseases and ailments and all kinds of things. So, yeah, some parts of the planet, like the woolly mammoths, people are like, oh, they're going to, recreate and clone woolly mammoths. But what if they did do that? Well, they are doing that regardless. But what if they did do that and we found out that woolly mammoth tusks cured cancer or something, just anything? We don't know. So new species and cloning old species could end up being beneficial. Some of it will backfire, though. There's going to be new amazing and healing. Only a decade or so into the new Earth, we will no longer have to fear illnesses and diseases, and life expectancy on the new Earth will be beyond 120 years of age. New species of plants and sea creatures will lead to many amazing new discoveries and breakthroughs in so many diseases, cures for diabetes, cancer, and even folks that are no longer paralyzed in a wheelchair for life. That won't be anymore either. That won't exist. That'll be great. The wonderful things is the up and coming rise of ancient medicines and ancient medical practices, the true medicines that Big Pharma spent decades, generations, and billions of dollars suppressing, trillions of dollars by now suppressing the ancient methods. And they continue to do so, but they're not going to be able to do so for much longer. Now, this takes me to the point of some people fearing that there's going to be a ban on vitamins and supplements. Could this be true? So, yes and no. It's a yes and no. Because what's going to come from it is a lot of regulations. Spirit says that they of course, are trying to do this and want to do this. But what's going to happen is there's going to be much more strict rules, strict regulations going into place, really to ensure the consumers, us, that we're getting what it says we're getting on the bottle. Because a lot of that stuff is, watered down with something. I mean, they find sawdust mixed with certain vitamins, and you're not getting the pure vitamin. You're getting only part of the vitamin and sawdust. So that kind of needs to happen, friends. So there's going to be very strict rules and regulations with the bottling of supplements and vitamins. Expect big reveals in the vitamin and supplement producers when it comes to selling fake products. Big reveals when it comes to them selling fake products. This is what's going to be, putting all this stuff in place and cutting them with, what the bad part is some of these are going to be cut with something toxic, especially something coming from China. Watch anything that comes from China, especially in the way of supplements and vitamins. And Spirit just said that to me now. Cut with toxic agents to make more money, of course, but also sadly to be harmful at the same time. This is going to cause governments and all to come down on the supplement companies. Maybe even certain vitamins, of course, as well, causing major harm to folks, and that's why it's going to come about. This is actually going to help push things in a direction where, again, we know what we're getting, and we're getting good stuff. So, but a full ban on these things, not going to happen. Not going to happen because we're going to be discovering all these other new supplements that are going to come along and new methods of healing that are all naturally derived. Also, Big Pharma, they don't do any, testing or anything on supplements. That's why the FDA doesn't support them, or there's always that little FDA thing on the back of your supplements. And they can't put on there what it's good for, you know what I mean? They can't in most cases. But that'll be different. In the future, it'll show this is good for this and take this, and you're 100% guaranteed that's what you're getting out of the bottle. So lots of good benefits for our health, actually. And the big pharma and their affiliates, they worked hard to keep this stuff from consumers, but that will all fall too. You have to make a big mistake, right? You have to make a really big mistake, recognize that mistake before we can learn to correct that mistake. And we got to admit that humans made a heck of a lot of big mistakes. Mistakes that we're only now actually just beginning to recognize. This is when we actually, first we recognize it, and then that time comes. And then huge mistakes prevents us from making much larger mistakes. So don't always be so hard and down on yourself. At the same time, we're going to see a lot of mistakes coming to the forefront in the world. Government mistakes, just corporation making mistakes, big mistakes. And that needs to happen. These mistakes need to occur in order for us to correct it and benefit from it. So always look at it that way. These things have to happen. You know, unfortunately, call it doom and gloom if you want, but it has to happen. Humanity ain't going to come together until certain events happen on this planet. It's just the way it is. It's the facts of life. The facts of life. Many creatures believed to be myth will be proven to be real. For example, the Nephilim or the giant people. Ho, 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 green giant. Yeah, the giants, the Nephilim. Funny. We already have plenty of evidence. We already know that they existed. Of course, they still hide it from us. They hid a lot of the skeletons and all the proof, even though there's some pictures that still linger around in the world and on the internet. But we really don't know. We need them to come out and say, look, this is what you know, they did exist, and they still do, and they're still hidden in the mountain somewhere. A few of them, not many, but a few of them. So we're going to find out about that. We're also going to find out about another example would be the ancient stories and myths around the Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti, those. Well, we're going to find out more about them and other interdimensional beings, because I believe that the Bigfoot is interdimensional being. That's why nobody can find them. But that's going to come to the forefront. I saw one myself at Bradshaw Ranch. I'm not even going to go into that story. Our senses are going to heighten. Our smell, our vision, our taste, and even our natural intuitive empathic abilities will make it much easier for us to identify illnesses and diseases as we quickly grow to the point of amazing cures, eliminating one disease after another. Amazing. Now let's move on. I gotta move through here. I think I'm gonna have to cut out some of this show again. Maybe I'll try to do 2 shows this week. That would be fun. It would have to be Friday, though. I wouldn't have time until then. Power of water and the water wars. Because it was several years back that Spirit told us that there would be future water wars and issues revolved around water and such. Therefore, these issues are needing to be addressed. They need to be addressed so that in the future and in the future Earth, the whole world, everybody has clean, free, safe drinking water close by, and they don't have to walk miles with buckets on their heads to get it. It should be that way already. It's not, but it will be. Remember, too, over the past month, I warned you that there would be attacks when it comes to water infrastructures and cyber attacks on water infrastructures. Now, lo and behold, did you see the big story on mass media news over the past week is that the EPA just put out warnings of attacks coming from China and Russia, they say, on our water and infrastructure. And this is going to become a reality, friends. Chicago just popped in my mind, so beware in Chicago. And it feels to me there's going to be, I see a vision of kids in the city playing in the fountains and the sprinkles. And I don't know if I'm in Vegas or if I'm in some other city. Chicago does pop out at me. Maybe it's both. But I see the kids playing, all of a sudden the fountains go off. All of a sudden somebody goes up to the water fountain to turn it on and nothing's coming out. So there is some kind of successful hit on turning off water for quite some time before they figure out how to get it back on. So that's what I see with water. Remember, if mass media is telling us it's going to happen, we know it's going to happen because they're probably planning it. Now, Big Pharma is already slowly collapsing if you haven't got that yet. And what's going to happen with that is spirit shows, or farming, not pharma, farming, big giant farming, the way farming's done now on an industrial level, that is slowly collapsing. And they're doing it on purpose. We know. Look at Gates. He's buying up all the farmland. Look at what they're doing to the farmers over there in Europe and all over the place. I mean, we know. It's an attack on farming. And we can look at it as gloom and doom, but we also can look at it as it needs to happen. It needs to happen. Why? Well, because look at what they do to our food, first of all. You know, look at the way it's produced, and it's much different. Like when I go and pick a salad from my backyard, I haven't done that yet because it's not growing lettuce yet, or even cucumber. It's so different to pick it out of your own yard or go to a fresh produce stand, not a produce stand that's getting it shipped in from somewhere else, but a farmer stand. Go to the farmer, directly to the farmer. It tastes so different, right? So different. So what's happening is there's going to be a farmer collective forming. It's going to be like more of a collective group of farmers that develop and start to spring up in neighborhoods across the globe. And basically, each neighborhood is going to be producing their own produce and have their own production. Going right door to door, hey, Mr. Tittel, do you need some corn today? You know, something like that. Or I can even probably tell my phone, hey, Siri, can I get some corn? I don't like to talk to Siri, but can I get some corn? And 5 minutes later, they're knocking on your door with some fresh pricked corn. It's going to be interesting. Mass food production, the way it's done now, is not going to be the way it's done in the future. It's going to be smaller. And you say, how are we going to feed all those people? Oh, we will. It'll be done in an amazing way and in a very healthy way. And it can still be healthy. Like I said, go to your produce stand. Go to your farmers. Buy your stuff there. Make sure you're getting stuff that's organic. Then, you know, well, hopefully you know that there's at least not as many pesticides in it. Wash your food off and be well. You got to eat. Food's good. I don't know about you. I'm hungry right now, actually. Because I'm running way late because I didn't think this was going to take this long. So I'm probably, like I said, well, I'm almost done, actually. Let's talk about Hollywood's future. On the subject of Hollywood, in which, you know, I will incorporate Hollywood's future existence into this too. But let us start with the truth coming out of Hollywood. Remember, I told you guys, gals and y'all, tribe, my tribe that vibes. I told you all a while back, years ago, and even last year, going back to 2022 even, that major truths were going to come from Hollywood. Remember my vision of seeing the Hollywood sign falling, letters falling. And I took that both metaphoric and literal, like some kind of big earthquake or some type of big storm is going to hit the coast of Los Angeles and Hollywood that's going to wipe that sign right off the mountain. At the same time, again, I take it as a metaphoric symbol too, meaning that that's Hollywood's falling one letter at a time. And that's happening. We see that. Sort of. But it's going to be big, and it's all going to happen so fast, so quick, and it's going to be quite shocking to some people. Not all people. Some of us ain't. We already know. Like, it shouldn't be shocked by now. We're going to see many arrests. Very shocking arrests. To say the least, friends. Say the least. And this is certainly on our doorsteps. Look at what's happening with what's unraveling with Sean P. Diddy Combs. You know, he's like the music mogul Epstein. And yes, you know, he might be a music mogul, but this still connects to the web of darkness that's connected to Hollywood. Hollywood and the music industry are pretty much the same, in my opinion, as far as being ran by the devil. It's just one big web of darkness. A web of darkness that I assure you is currently being dismantled. Which takes me to a quick short story I want to tell you about ayahuasca and my first journey of ayahuasca in Peru with the shamans. Laying on the floor, the room's all dark, shamans chanting and drumming. And I'm like, nothing's happening. And boom, all of a sudden, I'm there. Where was I? Like this, in a web. Like I was about to be eaten by a spider. And then Mama Spider came crawling along. and her eyes were as big as our heads. She was gigantic, and I'm not one that gets really freaked out or scared, but, you know, with ayahuasca, you're there. I'm telling you, I was there. I was in that web, 100% caught up in that web, freaked out as Mama Spider's walking towards me. And I was about to scream top of my lungs, get me the fudge out of here, Shaman Puma. Get me out of here. But I knew he couldn't, and I knew I already committed to the journey with ayahuasca. And then Mama Spider, as I was about to scream, says, "Fear me not, my child. Fear me not. I am here to help you." And she cut me out of the web. And what she taught me in that experience was that myself and humanity is caught up in a web of darkness. Caught up on a web of darkness, just sitting back in his little cocoon, wrapped up, not able to move, waiting for a big spider to come chomp on us. That's what she showed me. She says, "I'll cut you out of that because you're a spider like me, and you can build and create a beautiful web of light." And she told me, and that's what you will do in the future. You will create a web of light as I begin to dismantle this web of darkness and begin to cut you humans out one at a time. So it was an amazing experience. Scary, but amazing. And that's what she was showing me. But then I just hit a button. What to do? So I think that's amazing. And it was a good ayahuasca metaphor, I guess you could say, the way she showed me, like, yeah, this is you and the rest of humanity. And not only that, it's a long journey, and I'll have to do a video. Will do one this summer on my whole ayahuasca journey. I forgot about it, and now I will do that this summer. She was also showing me not only just being a spider caught up in the web and that web of darkness is being dismantled, but she also showed me that web goes back 13 generations in our ancestry. So I'm caught up in that web, but I also am a representative of my ancestors. And she was cutting me and my ancestors out of that web of darkness. And I did a lot of ancestral work on that journey. It was quite powerful and wild. I can't wait to go back again. So that's what she was showing me. And I say that for all of us. Being caught up, we're being cut out of that web, and we're going to spin our own web of light around the earth. So on the new earth, we do not consume television. We do not watch movies the way we do now. Television propaganda and brainwashing is extinct completely on the new earth. What we watch on the new earth is all like healthy things, documentaries, and a lot of stuff you see on the future television of the earth is a lot of history about this earth. So you see it, look, this is where the earth used to be, and this is where we are now, and then these are the amazing innovations, and it's so exciting that that's all we're watching. So yeah, Hollywood doesn't exist in the future. Not like it does now, and it's not called Hollywood. It's more like independent stuff, and it's all educational stuff. History, educational. And most of the time, people don't want to watch it. That's the thing. We're going to be too busy and too excited living our lives to the fullest. So that brings me towards the end. I was going to tell you about the, well, let me bring this up because this is important, because you remember the old term I brought up, going postal. And I told you we're going to see that. I said that earlier this year, and people going berserk on their going back, returning to their employers or coworkers and going cray-cray. We just saw that again. We saw that in Philadelphia, where somebody again returned to their place of employment and pow and caused sadness and bad things to happen. We also saw another horror play out in the movie theater, just as predicted. Sadly, and not just a movie theater. Apparently, the person used a knife there and a couple other places before crashing their vehicle in the end. Something, again, really sad, but this is something that's happening. People are, if you're not going to be grounded and connected to the earth, the Hopi people said people are going to walk around like zombies. People are going to not be connected to their minds anymore. They're going to lose it. And we also got to acknowledge the fact that there are dark things on this planet, dark entities that have been controlling things in a dark way for a long time. That also needs to be exposed, and it is being exposed. Slowly but surely, people are recognizing that this does exist. And then we can abolish that, and we will. All right, we won't have to worry about dark entities and all that on the planet. And they actually could be our friends on the planet, because remember, it's a battery with balance. Equal polarities, friends, equal polarities. So what's going to happen with the mental health in the future? Where is that heading? There are going to be, again, new frequencies, mainly frequency stuff and energy, and even the use of magnets in different forms on the brain and different parts of the body will aid in the regeneration of the brain. And also, even more importantly, giving us the ability to use a larger percentage of our brain. You know how they say we only use 10% of our brains or whatever? Spirit says these new technologies, and it looks like a helmet that's on your head, but also little different things on the body that use a combination of magnets, frequency, and sound that actually regenerate brain cells, help people with, what do you call it? What do you call it? What do the soldiers get? I'm just drawing a blank, just a brain freeze. You don't have to put it in the comments, but, you know, I can't think of it. I'm having a brain freeze. PTSD. Got it. Thank you, spirits. Thank you, spirits. PTSD. So stuff like that. PTSD. And yeah, it will take mental illness to a new level. But one of the big effects of the mental illness spirit shows me is a couple things. It's a combination of all the heavy metals and the toxicity that we're consuming. If we are more aware of what we're consuming and exposing ourselves to, even the things you use, toxic cleaners and all these things are affecting the body, mind, and spirit and the brain. So keeping yourself free, you know, again, eat healthy, don't use toxic stuff. If you cleaners, don't use toxic cleaners, all of that. That also suppresses the brain. The propaganda and all the garbage that they put on the television and in the movies also aids into creating people's mental illness or worsening their mental illness. There was something else. What else was there, Spirit? So besides that, there's, again, many traits that are going into aiding into people losing their minds, their disconnection from the earth, their disconnection from the foods they eat. You have to be connected. I always thank my food and tell my food I love it. Every single time. Never fail. Even if I'm in a restaurant, I don't care if people see me. Sometimes I see people watching me and they're being like, what's the dude doing? And they start talking to my food and they just look at me weird. Whatever, I love my food and I wanted to know that because it changes the vibration before it goes into your body. So even if you were to eat food that wasn't so good, tell what you love it, and it's still going to change the vibration to a better, higher vibration. So in the future, again, mental health changes. It's not a problem. Oh, that's what else I was going to say. A lot of it is driven from our ancestry. Remember, we carry 13 generations of our ancestry right there in our gut, right there in your navel sacral chakra, 13 generations. And I know this. Again, I learned this in Peru with ayahuasca because I went back many generations and saw things that were quite disturbing, I must say. That's stuff that aids in our current mental illness. We carry these things over energetically, right? It's not past life karma. Past life karma is only emotions that we carry over from past life. So that's another thing we carry over. We don't carry over the karma, we carry over the emotions. So all these things aid in that. But amazing new things are coming in the aiding of mental health. Also, minerals, crystals are a part of this thing that I sell on the head. It's not just magnets, but there's some kind of connection of different minerals and crystals. Spirit also shows me certain crystals and gems being grinded down and put together with other gems and minerals that actually make magic happen. And that's all the spirits tell me. And what about the future of our currencies? Because we see so many things being pushed in our faces, the attempts to rip away physical currency, not because they want to just digitalize us for our convenience, but because they want to digitalize us so that they can follow, track everything and everyone. Not only that, they can take whatever money they want from you whenever they want. If you get a ticket, you don't even go to court. They just automatically take it out of your checking account. That's their goal. But will their goal be fulfilled? And what about gold in the future? Where's gold going on the future Earth? I know in the future Earth, we actually have structures with golden plates on them, kind of like ancient Egypt. So that's part of the future Earth. We'll be using gold and precious metals, even silver, and different minerals, emeralds, diamonds, whatever, and other minerals, amazing minerals, as a part of our future architecture. Because it's going to actually cause the buildings to vibrate on these different amazing levels. Spirit's showing me that now. just like it was in ancient Egypt, actually, but even better, going all the way back to Atlantis, Mu, Lemuria, and vibrating on the levels they did, but even higher level than that. All the galactic beings that surround us in the universe are watching the Earth more than any other planet. They're all watching us ever so closely. They're surrounding our planets with their flying vehicles because they want to witness what amazing things are going to happen on the Earth that hasn't ever happened in the universe before. We're in the center of the universe. We are the center of attention right now in the universe. That's amazing. That's exciting. And as much as maybe when I was younger, I'd say I ain't coming back to this Earth and reincarnating. Actually, yeah, I look forward to it because there's exciting things coming in our future, including the way we do things in the monetary system. But let's look at our current system right now. And let's look at current things. I put this little piece together for you. Check it out. In 1816, the gold standard, an economic unit of account based on a fixed quantity of gold, was officially adopted, and the world reserve currency became the British pound sterling. In 1914, after World War I, nations attempted to revive the gold standard, but it collapsed during the Great Depression. Also, in 1914, the Federal Reserve, a private company, was born after Britain was devastated by World War II. They were no longer a superpower, and so the global reserve currency needed to be reset. In 1944, at the Bretton Woods Conference, the US dollar became the new global reserve currency. This established America as the dominant power in the world economy, giving America the sole ability to print dollars. The rest of the world would need to trade their own currency against the US dollar in order to balance exchange rates, keeping the international economy vibrant and fluid. But by the 1960s, the United States had printed more USD than their gold reserves could cover. And by 1970, a growing American trade deficit was undermining the value of the dollar. On August 15, 1971, President Richard Nixon brought an end to the gold standard. Federal Reserve notes, a fiat currency backed by debt rather than gold, became the new standard. This is no different than an IOU, as one would expect. Right after President Nixon gave his speech, inflation began to rise, and America's biggest export became debt. The creation of the petrodollar gave the U.S. even more sway over world economics. And today, the international debt has become untenable, and many are saying another global currency reset is needed. Historically, the gold standard has been the most stable economy we have known, but gold can be manipulated and disruptive as well. Some are suggesting that cryptocurrency could be the solution. Crypto is run by an algorithm and it can be designed to meet specific needs. The global currency needs to have a fluid supply, and the limited gold supply failed to keep up with economic growth. A sovereign-free algorithm-based alternative could potentially be more stable. China is almost ready to launch their own cryptocurrency, DCEP, short for Digital Currency Electronic Payments. DCEP is government-controlled and fully centralized so far. It appears to be a digital version of fiat paper money. The Federal Reserve Bank is developing their own crypto as well. The 2020 pandemic seems to have been a perfect storm for a global currency reset. The amount of losses from shutdowns and so forth has completely weakened the US dollar, and it continues to weaken even more. When the US dollar falls, it is going to be replaced by something. The question is, what will it be exactly? It's definitely coming, and it's coming very soon. So is it going to be digital currency? Well, digital currencies are going to come about. They're not going to last very long in the aspects that they wish them to last. But yes, it's going to come along. It's going to be part of our higher technology. But in the long run, it's going to be in a way that benefits us. In the beginning, it's not going to. In the beginning, it's not going to be good, friends. The reason being is this is what's going to wake people up. This is what's going to cause us to take our power back and fight against the system. to create a new system, a system that benefits all of humanity. And originally I said, yes, something coming in the future that's backed by gold, and it has to be backed by gold. And I said that years ago, and now we have BRICS, the whole BRICS system. So BRICS is going to hold on strong for a while, but I still see something better coming. I also see a point, which is probably already happening, where people are going to begin trading and bartering for things. That's going to be common ground. And as I talk about farmlands and the way farms are in the future, farms are more localized like used to be for our ancestors. We are all living in community in the future. A wonderful community where everybody gets along. Believe it or not, I know that's hard to believe. But you got to remember, we're on a different vibration. When we ascend, we enter a Jesus consciousness or Jesus-like consciousness. We get along with everybody. Everybody loves one another. Right now, the way it should be, friends. The way it should be and the way it's going to be. So that's what's going to happen. We're being forced into this. So the people that are resistant, it's going to be more challenging for. Again, we got to take the good and we got to take the bad. It's both. So all those out there that are pushing all this, oh, it's all going to happen overnight and it's so amazing. I'm sorry, there's prophecies that have to be fulfilled first. Ones that are already being fulfilled that we know the other ones are yet to come. They're going to come. So yeah, we got to go through the trash bag before we get out of the trash can, basically. Or get drugged through the bumpy roads before we get on that smooth golden path. What Spirit shows me now, so BRICS is going to be the big solid one. Something revolved around BRICS or something like it that is backed by precious gold. But that's not going to be enough, and it's not going to fully work. The CBDC that United States is trying to pass, and they're going to keep pushing and pushing it, but Americans are going to fight for that one, and they need to, because that would strip instantly our freedom and turn our country into a communist country. Can't have that happen. And luckily, there was a bill just passed to prevent that from happening. So that's the way it needs to be. The whole banking system needs to go. Look, the Federal Reserve, the people that were against it, sank on the great Titanic. Oh, it's so convenient, isn't it? So convenient that those were the ones that didn't make it. The ones that were against it because they saw it as slavery and bad. And they were all put on the Titanic. That sunk. No coincidence there. Well, they're not going to be able to sink any more Titanics in our future. They're not going to be able to sink those that are fighting for our rights, stepping back into our power. Spirit shows me there's going to be a new discovery. Something new, something different that's going to take our monetizing system in a direction that nobody would have even been able to guess or predict, only God himself. To me, I feel like it is related to something mineral related. I don't know what, but it's got to be more abundant than gold is, right? For it to be good for everybody. See, the problem is gold would be great if it wasn't hogged up by all these countries. Like, you know, look at the United States and all the gold that's supposed to be at Fort whatever it's called. We know it's not there. The country hasn't had gold in forever. Where did it all go? In the billionaire's basement. Of course. Of course. Of course. They ain't going to be holding on to it for long. But again, Spirit shows me a new mineral. Something new. Something of evolutionary that will come prior to us entering the new earth, after we finally resist and abolish the mark of the beast. So yeah, the mark of the beast has to come first. Again, according to what Spirit just said in my ear, yeah, that would have to come first. And I think we're in the process. We see that already in China. China has the mark of the beast. They can't do anything. If they jaywalk across the street, they get a ticket in the mail and get the money is taken right out of their bank accounts. And then they're restricted from traveling, and they get points against their social credit score system. That won't exist in the future either, by the way. We won't even have a credit score system because we won't have credit cards and we won't have banks. We will have a monetary system that works for everybody. That is something certainly to look forward to. Get excited. Remember, as I tell you in these episodes, part 1 and part 2, there are our ability to manifest and make things happen with the law of attraction are amazing. And I've seen this for myself over the past decade, getting better and better and better at it, and things manifesting much quicker. That's why I teach a class, Transform into Abundance. Check it out. Go to my website. And if you want private sessions or anything, classes, go to my website, josephtittel, Tittel.com. or SpiritmanJT.com. Use the code Y, capital T, 25 to get $25 off any private session. Not classes, private sessions only. So yes, we're going to be able to manifest much better. So I really encourage you all to delve deep into the rabbit hole of law of attraction and start utilizing it to your advantage. Because as you do, you're going to find that it's going to become easier and easier to do so. If you don't know where to start, you can start with my class, Transform into Abundance. But something to look forward to again is a monetary system after the great conflict, Spirit says, that works for everybody. Hallelujah. Let us move on. The term going postal in the future of mental health, obviously that's something that's extremely important as we continue to witness more and more people losing their mental health. And so many things are going into the effects of affecting people's mental health. Things that we wouldn't even want to imagine are happening invisibly, we can say. So you may recall a while back, I brought back that old term going postal. If you don't know that, only most people, Americans, would know. Outside of America, you might not know that. That term developed in the 80s when postal workers were going a little cray-cray, pow-pow on coworkers at post offices. That's where the term came from. It was a big thing in the 80s. It happened quite often. And I use that phrase not meaning post offices, but I use that phrase as meaning of people going back to their workplace to cause harm upon coworkers or bosses, especially leaders of companies and so forth. We just saw that happen once again, this time in my hometown, nearby city of my hometown, Philadelphia, PA. In Philadelphia, folks, at a workplace witnessed a coworker coming back very unhappy, firing amongst employees. A very sad event for sure. We even also saw another horror play out. Remember, Spirit told us about movie theaters and things happening in movie theaters, which we, again, just saw like a week ago, 2 weeks at the most. And sadly, we just saw it happen again. This time with some cray-cray person carrying a device that's sharp and long, if you know what I mean. Using that, not just at a movie theater, other places apparently as well before they were, their car went crash. So this is a big highlight on mental health, friends. So what does mental health look like on the future Earth? How is everything changing and shifting? Well, it's already doing so, friends. And there's already methods of healing and things that are happening that are already helping people with PTSD and other forms of healing using, of course, a lot, not all, there's different ones, but natural medicines. Using the magic of mushrooms or the magic of ayahuasca and many other things. Now, they use ketamine too, but that's not natural. So I see more natural things coming. And this goes back and takes us back to sound frequency and sound waves and sound, and just not even sound, just frequency in itself. And Spirit shows me visions of these things that go over our heads like helmets that are a combination of frequency, sound, and magnets. Actually, magnets that actually alter the brain's chemistry and alter the brain back to full function. Full function. See, that's the thing. We all heard the term, we only use less than 10% of our brains, which means we're not fully functioning in our full brain capacity. That's not what it's like on the new Earth. I remember long ago, 15 years ago, Spirit told me psychics and mediums will cease to exist in the future. I'm like, well, I don't want to hear that. That's what I do. But I didn't understand when I was younger, and I grew to understand what they meant by that. We won't need them. We'll all be so in tune with nature and with each other that you won't need that. We'll have open connection and communication with deceased loved ones. I see a return of that communication with the deceased coming as well. Whereas in the future, and who was it? Dr. Raymond Moody, who was on my podcast way back on Blog Talk Radio. And I've done events with Dr. Raymond Moody. What a humble, wonderful man he is to be around. He's got great stories. Long story short, one of his friends had a dream with a specific geographical location, the degrees. And he went and he typed in those degrees, and it took him to Turkey. And in turn, again, long story short, he went to Turkey and got permission from the government to do an archaeological dig. And they found this whole ancient city, said to be the most ancient one of all cities. And in the center of these towns was this box. And what did he call it? He calls it a name. There's a name for it, and I can't remember the name. But basically, you get in this box, and it's got mirrors in it or whatever, and you sit in this box, and your deceased loved ones show up in front of you and start communicating with you. No doubt, like, it's them. You know, you're seeing them. You're communicating with them one-on-one. And I remember Dr. Moody telling the story. He didn't believe it when he heard it. So he went to Turkey and flew there and sat in this box and was shocked to the results. To the point that he actually built his own in his garage in Alabama, which I never got to go in. I wish he would invite me. I'll drive. It's a long drive, but I'll fly. I'll fly to Alabama and go sit in that bad boy. I'd love to see the specs on how to make one. I'd make one myself. But we're going to see these kinds of things in the future. Communication with our loved ones and elders, and they're the ones that are going to help assist us in opening up to the new earth, helping us with the mental illness. And we have to remember mental illness stems back from our ancestry. And most people don't realize that we hold 13 generations of our ancestry right there in your gut, your sacral navel chakra. So when you work with, say, plant medicine like ayahuasca, there's a purge process. It comes out one way or another, friends. That is because you're purging ancestral garbage. And I've seen things during my ayahuasca journey, going back different generations, things that were still to this day disturbing to me to see that within my family tree. But we all have that, said Spirit. We all have it, some worse than others. It's somewhere there. 13 generations is a long time of family history. That all needs to be cleared before we can move into the new earth. So we have people doing different types of shamanic ancestral work, ancestral healing. People are doing it on their own through ayahuasca and other methods. These are the forms that are going to also assist in mental illness. And again, this system that Spirit shows me that goes on people's heads and actually gives us the ability to use full capacity of our brains. That sounds pretty darn amazing to me. Imagine the way things could be and will be when we're using our full brain capacity and doing so in a spiritually grounded way connected to the earth, because everything's connected. We have just become very disconnected from the earth and the ways of our ancient ancestors. The Hopi have been saying that for generations. It's in their Blue Star Kachina prophecy that humans will walk around the cities like zombies. It's happening. We're already there, friends. We're there. We're in the midst of it, and there's a lot more to come. There's other things Spirit shows me of a grinding down of several different minerals. Just an example. Take in the mineral like, what do you call it? Say amethyst, citrine, and rose quartz. Grinding them all down to a powder and mixing them together, and magic will occur. So someone's going to make those breakthroughs with different minerals. And not only minerals that are combined together, but also that are combined together that we ingest. That actually, again, change our cell structure and our DNA structure and take us to the next level. Very exciting. Very exciting things happening in the way of mental health. But unfortunately, again, in order for us to have big breakthroughs in anything, starting again with mental health, we have to see it fall apart first. We have to see people losing their minds before people actually step forward and say, we need to do something. And people are doing something. So that's happening. We see that happening, friend. So mental health, again, won't be an issue when we reach the New Earth Nation. A wonderful thing indeed, friends. A wonderful thing indeed. Shall we move on? Another thing that I mentioned in yesterday's part 1, and again, if you missed part 1 of the New Earth Predictions and Prophecy, make sure you check it out. I'll make sure a link pops up above. I think I already did earlier in this episode, actually. So where does the military stand in the future? Spirit says they don't. Not the way we see the military today. Military is kind of more like the, what do you call them? The engineers for the military that work on the bridges and build the bridges. That's the kind of military we will have. We won't have military with weapons and with the goal to, fight others. That will not exist. We won't need it. We'll be too connected. But we will need a military people to help rebuild the earth, and that will be more of what the military shifts into. People in those fields and those work areas will end up going in that direction. So again, all for the better, friends. All for the better. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be big breakthroughs. We're going to find out a lot of truth when it comes to Skinwalker Ranch. I mentioned that earlier. A lot's going on there, including some ancient technologies that are buried right there beneath the mesa at Skinwalker Ranch. The government already knows it's there because, you know, part of the government is connected to, they say, the reptilians. If it's true, then they know because they've been here for ancient times. They've been scavengers feeding on our energy. Some believe, actually. So, Skinwalker, yeah, below there's a lot going on. We're going to find reveals about that. They're going to try to keep it away as they are now. But we will see reveals. And then also on Oak Island. And you ever see the show The Legend of Oak Island? And the Leganis brothers. I think that's their name, Leganis. Brothers are digging for the treasure and have been for so long. Oh, there's definitely some treasure there. No doubt about it. And I said this long ago in my predictions, that they will come across it. And they're going to find some other things too, including some ancient manuscripts that are preserved in a box. Spirit shows me that now. I would expect that breakthrough to come for them very, very soon. Because they're at the point, Spirit shows me, of wanting to give up or, you know, a point of being stopped or moving forward. So it has to happen soon, and it will. It's part of the big reveal of the future, friends. Truth. Truth, wisdom, and we have to learn the truth of our history. Because so much of our history has been wiped away from us. We have been lied to. They don't admit to the Nephilim, the giant people. They don't tell us what really the connection is to the Sasquatch, the Yeti, to the galactic people. And they know all these answers. And soon, we're going to know those answers too. That's exciting. A couple other things I want to touch base on. So in my past predictions, when Lisa Marie Presley had a heart attack and passed, was that January of last year, I believe it was? And I said there would be major issues over the Graceland estate. And that just came about. Some company that they're saying might even be a fraud company set up this whole auction bid for Graceland estate that luckily last minute got stopped by the courts temporarily. So what's going on with Graceland, friends? Is Elvis still hiding in the basement? Nah, he's hiding in Vegas. He's not even hiding anymore. And he's got to be like 88, 87 years old. He's doing good for his age. I still see more problems around Graceland and a fight for it. But in the end, the Presley family will still have the biggest hold on it. And that won't exist on the new earth either. It won't be standing when we get to the new earth, says Spirit. So that's that. Now, a lot of people, the Vatican files. Let me mention something about the Vatican files. There's a lot of Vatican files, friends. You know that safe down beneath the Vatican is 5 miles long. That's not including all the catacombs and all the even famous people that are buried beneath the Vatican. There is so many secrets, not just in the vault, but hidden beneath the Vatican as well. And soon enough, in the next decade, I would expect, and a new pope reigns, there's going to be big, deep investigations into the church, because when the Lord Divine strikes a special light and ignites a special light in the future pope, a light that wants to bring out truth, they're not going to be able to stop him. There's been popes that wanted to do that in the past, way in the past, and they were stopped and taken away and taken out, says Spirit. But that's not the case for the future. Files and things will be released. And remember the vision? I had a vision of a big dark entity breaking through the walls of the Vatican and running off towards the city. So that comes to my mind again. So I would think it's somewhat related to that. Truth coming out about, say, the dark entities that embellish the whole entire Vatican. It'll be very interesting. And prayers to the current pope, because, I mean, they're like basically like Joe Biden, just trying to keep him going for whatever. But they can't only keep them going for very much longer. Dyslexia. And lastly, I want to mention Princess Kate, because so many people have been asking about Princess Kate. Princess Kate is in her 9th year right now. 9 years are all about endings, death of cycles, getting rid of, letting go of. She's still alive, so don't believe any of the conspiracy BS that's going on out there. It's not true. She's very much alive. She will very much be in the public eye again in the future. She's got the power of Princess Diana pushing her forward through this because she was put there by the divine on purpose to, again, shift the hierarchy of the hierarchy of England to a more positive light. Much more positive. King Charles, I would say, will exit by next year. Next year, Princess Kate's in her 1 year. That's new beginnings, new starts. I don't know what William's in. I should have looked that up, but no worries. Because William will be the next king. And the hierarchies of England will shift and change as well. Because they have part of the control on everything, part of the web of the darkness. As much as we may love them or people may love them, they're still part of the darkness. Look at the portrait of King Charles. That should tell you enough right there. But again, the Lord will be striking a light, igniting a light within the leaders that are controlled by dark. And that light is going to shift them in a different direction. It's going to be interesting to witness. Very, very interesting. So Princess Kate is very, very much enduring major, major health issues. On top of a lot of emotional stuff. Especially coming to the realization of some of the things that she's witnessed and knows is actually happening there at that castle and in the family that she would have never even dreamed possible and would have thought was conspiracy herself. This has put a toll on her health. But she is getting better. She's being healthier. And we'll see her back in the light next year. Oh, and also another thing. People don't smoke in the future Earth. We don't do toxic things. You know, people aren't on drugs. Like, you know, like heroin or any of those hard narcotics. That doesn't exist on the new Earth. It's only natural things, natural remedies. We're too happy and joyful, Spirit says, on the new Earth. We don't need things like that. We only use things like natural medicines, say, again, ayahuasca, even mushrooms of the magical varieties to aid in the development of healing with the brain, past trauma, ancestry, so forth. It's an amazing future. And I'm glad that I was able to take you on a glimpse into our amazing future in the new Earth. I'm going to write a book about this. I went out into the forest yesterday, connected with the trees, asked them to give me a download of information, and then randomly last night I was like, I got to write a book and it needs to be this. I even got the title and what it is. Now I just need Spirit to give me the time to do it. But that's what I'm going to start doing this summer. Taking time to write this and hopefully get it done quick. I'm not going to put any time because I have no idea. But hold that in the light, my new book in the future. Yay. Many new books in the future, says the Spirits. So I'm going to leave you with that because don't forget, June predictions will be out later on this week. And there you have it. Our venture onto the new Earth. And part 2 of episode 119 of Tea Time, baby. And I very much hope that you enjoyed it. Again, I broke it down into 2 episodes because I thought 2 hours and 20 minutes or whatever it is way too long. So I broke it in 2. Because I know I can't sit and watch something for 2 hours unless it's a really good movie. And I don't even do that very often. It's easier to break it down into 2 pieces. And hopefully you saw both pieces. And I want to thank you once again for the love and support. Remember, if you want private session or you want information about me, SpiritmanJT.com or JosephTittel.com, Tittel. Thank you to all my supporters who make this free content possible for everybody else. I couldn't do it without you. Remember, all the links are down below, including the link to my newsletter. Sign up for that, baby. And thank you so much for showing me some love by clicking that thumbs up love button down below. Help this information get out to others. Let others know what the new Earth has in store for us. Share this on your social media. Share it with others. Tell others to watch this video. Until the next time, my beautiful, beautiful friends, remember to catch my June predictions coming up later this week. Celebrate life, friends. Celebrate you. Be kind to others as you wish others be kind to you. And remember to be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Because you're awesome and you need to let your light shine, baby. Let that light shine. Have a beautiful rest of your day or evening. Namaste, friends. And much love. Much love.